In this segment, you're going to learn about inference. An inference is a reasonable conclusion based on evidence that has a common point of reference. For example, a man in a suit is standing at a bus stop. He keeps checking his watch. Occasionally, he leans over to look down the street. Now, could you say that the man is waiting for a bus? An inference is a reasonable conclusion based on evidence. Do you see anything in that paragraph that says that he was waiting for a bus? Yes, he was standing at a bus stop. An inference is a reasonable conclusion based on evidence that has a common point of reference. Well, most people would commonly believe that somebody who is standing at a bus stop is waiting for a bus, so it has a common point of reference. So an inference is a reasonable conclusion based on evidence that has a common point of reference. So could you say that the man is impatient? Yes, he keeps checking his watch, and there's evidence right there. So that means that you can make a reasonable conclusion. Could I say that the man is an important businessman? Well, he's wearing a suit, but we can't jump to the conclusion that he's an important businessman. So in other words, you have to have evidence to make a reasonable conclusion. The strategy here is to visualize or see what is happening when you are reading so that you actually see the evidence that you need in order to make a reasonable conclusion. So let's see if you can visualize what's happening in this paragraph so that you can make a reasonable conclusion. Kendra and her boyfriend are talking to Kendra's best friend, Jaleesa. When Kendra's back is turned, the boyfriend and Jaleesa stare at each other and smile. When Kendra turns around, her boyfriend and Jaleesa quickly look away from each other. So now, which of these statements are reasonable conclusions? Kendra's boyfriend and Jaleesa are attracted to each other. Is there evidence for that? Yes, because they stared at each other and smiled. Kendra is aware of the attraction between her boyfriend and Jaleesa. No. In fact, when Kendra turned around, the other two turned around. Kendra is unaware of the attraction between her boyfriend and Jaleesa. I would say so, since when she turned around, they turned around. So an inference is a reasonable conclusion based on evidence that is there. Paula's legs were shaking as she walked down the long hallway after leaving the doctor's office. Who will take care of my kids? Then Paula remembered that her purse was still sitting next to the chair where she had been sitting in front of the doctor's desk. Could you say that Paula was worried because there was a large amount of money in her purse? Well, she left her purse there, but did it say there was a large amount of money in her purse? No. So that would be an inaccurate conclusion because there's no real evidence for that. In other words, you don't want to jump to conclusions from something that's not there. An inference is something that has evidence, but you can see how easy it is to jump to conclusions. Paula had just finished having a private consultation with her physician. Well, you could say that, yes, because she had just been at the doctor's office. Paula received some bad news about her health. Yes, there's evidence there, because she was worried about what would happen with her kids. For more information about this topic, you can review the video or you can jump to the segment tests.